All right, we are talking about the meaning of Yahweh in the New Testament in your Legacy Standard Bible. You will find it in the footnotes, referenced in 108 verses, I believe, and it's referencing 109 times that you would actually find the word Yahweh. And so in Mark chapter 12, verse 29, it occurs twice in that one verse. And so this is how it falls out throughout the 27 books of the New Testament. There are 17 times in Matthew, 6 times in Mark, 30 times in Luke. They identified Yahweh. There's 5 times in John's Gospel. There's 17 times in Acts, 5 times in Romans, 3 times in 2 Corinthians, 1 time in Philippians, 1 time in 2 Thessalonians, 1 time in 2 Timothy, 9 times in Hebrews, 1 time in James, and twice in 1 Peter, and then 5 times in the book of Revelation, for a total of 108 verses, in which 109 times that occurs. And so this is becoming more and more of an awareness by modern day scholars that yes, this meaning is there. Now, I would tell you that I have found it probably in closer to 300 verses. They're not all quotes. There's sometimes that there's allusions. Sometimes there are phrases that are either always Yahweh phrases, or sometimes a high propensity to be Yahweh, high 90% of the time it's Yahweh. And so to me, those phrases carry that meaning as well. And so there's this greater awareness. And of course, the Legacy Standard Bible includes Yahweh in the Old Testament text some over 6,800 times, rather than just using the all cap Lord like the New King James does, and or many of our English translations. So I believe in, just like it's meaningful in the Old Testament, it's meaningful in the New Testament. And some say, well, if Kyrios was good enough for Paul, it's good enough for me. But I would tell you that Paul was living under a time of a religious oppression on speaking the name. And it was during the blindness. I think the name and prohibition on speaking it was part of the blindness. I'm not saying it was a conspiracy in any way, shape, or form. I think it was God saying, hey, you Jews are becoming blind. I'm going to allow you just to quit speaking my name. And I believe it was part of the blindness that came upon the Jews because they were not following after God with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength. I don't want that to happen. I want to be restored to everything that God has and has ever had. And I want the full understanding of the full truth of who God is and what his word says. And I don't believe it is fully conveyed as clearly with the substitutes. And so I'm wanting to raise the awareness of Yahweh's meaning in the New Testament, because there is the confession that Jesus is Yahweh.